want to know what's fucking funny to me is that people are out here being like, oh my god, you need a man in order to validate your worth. Like, you're not funny until a man says you're funny. You're not smart unless a man says you're smart.
What are you, stupid or what?
You're not pretty unless a man tells you you're pretty. Like, all of that bullshit. Y'all, the times in my life where I have felt the most validated have been when Drew has interacted with the comments I've left on her videos. It has since happened 5 times. I've gotten a response twice. And that's all I need. All I need is Drew's validation, okay? Made me feel better than any man ever has.
Out here in modern day society, you continually hear women on TikTok complain about their relationships. They will say that men don't take them seriously. The bar is set so low for men. Men need to step it up, etc., etc. On today's episode, guys, we are going to be taking a look at some feminist TikToks to see why exactly men are not taking these girls seriously for relationships and marriage. So, guys, before we jump in, as always, make sure that you come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. Guys, Locals is totally free to join, and you know, Susan is absolutely everywhere these days, so make sure you come and join us over there just in case we get kidnapped in the middle of the night. But without further ado, guys, let's jump into some of these TikToks. We're going to be breaking down this woman's right here. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's take a listen to what she has to say.
You want to know what's fucking funny to me is that people are out here being like, oh my god, you need a man in order to validate your worth. Like, you're not funny until a man says you're funny. You're not smart unless a man says you're smart. You're not pretty unless a man tells you you're pretty. Like, all of that bullshit.
I don't think I've heard anybody say that. If this woman, right, the closest thing I can think of to what she's saying is that I would consider women unsuccessful in dating if they do not have a very serious partnership or a marriage early on in their life. That's what I would consider unsuccessful. As for all this smart, beautiful, pretty, all this kind of crap, women are told this on a continuous basis, whether or not they are actually these things, right? There are literally echo chambers of women sitting around telling each other that they're beautiful and they're queens and they deserve this and that. So I don't know what the hell this woman is on about, saying that most of society encourages women and tells them that they're absolutely fantastic no matter what it is that they do. Right, if you're a guy and you're out here, chances are if you're an average man, you ain't getting validated for anything. Okay, but this woman is complaining because apparently society treats her as though she's only funny if she has a man. That's a sentiment I don't think I've ever heard, to be honest with you.
Y'all, the times in my life where I have felt the most validated have been when Drew has interacted with the comments I've left on her videos. It has since happened 5 times. I've gotten a response twice. And that's all I need. All I need is Drew's validation, okay? Made me feel better than any man ever has.
Yeah, and that should tell you everything. Okay, if a girl is complaining about the fact that no man ever makes her feel good, it tells you a lot about the men that she chooses to date, doesn't it? Right? Like, again, it says more about the individuals saying the sentence. Like, if you sit here and you say, my relationships with men are all terrible, the bar is so low, what you're really communicating is that you can't set standards for men that you're attracted to. That's the first thing. Second of all, a lot of these girls, right, and one of the reasons why men don't look at them seriously for relationships and marriage is because they're out here judging everything's worth based on how much validation they get from it. Right? Men will be perceived more valuable. Like, on average, guys, men validate women way too much, excuse me. And I would argue that we shouldn't be doing it at all. But, you know, these individuals are so driven by validation, guys, which is a really scary prospect if you consider putting them in a marriage, because they'll be swayed any which way from some random dude that's attractive that calls her pretty on the street, or at least that's what they say, you know, oh, he gave me some attention, so I had to ditch my marriage, right? Let's jump into the next clip and take a listen.
So I've got a question for the bros, the brothers, the brethren, specifically the law.
I think guys would have sufficed there, but go on.
A lot of you who are constantly going into women's comment sections and being like, it's not all men. It's not all men. I'm so mad that you think it's me. It's not all men. I'm a good guy. Please.
Oh, you mean the misandrists on TikTok have men responding to them saying that not all men are terrible? Yeah. It's almost like when you get on TikTok and you say terrible things about men, it's almost as if men will come and say not all men, because it isn't. If you want to continue making awful comments, don't be surprised when people tell you they're awful or they make no sense. right? And this is not people trying to invalidate the female experience, or they're not listening to what women has to say. What you're saying on these applications is misandrous in nature, right? And you're shocked and horrified when dudes respond to it in kind. Really stupid.
Please inform me, a feeble-minded woman, how you are completely personally victimized and just experience so many hardships in life because women decide to be slightly more cautious around you.
That's not the argument that's being presented. I think it's really disingenuous when girls make TikToks like this. They will make blanket negative statements that aren't backed about men, okay? Then when men refute those statements, she'll sit here and she'll change the goalposts. Have you guys ever sat in an argument with someone and it's like they just keep shifting the goalposts for the crap that they're talking about? Can you imagine this? Again, we're going to keep relating this back to this, guys. Imagine this in a marriage, okay? You're trying to solve an issue with this woman. And what does she do when you attempt to solve it, or when you attempt to communicate with her? She just starts talking about other crap, which wasn't even your point at all, right? It really wasn't. Man.
On a regular basis. Like, aside from getting your feelings hurt, how does that really contribute to all the struggles that you have in your life? I'm genuinely curious. Because y'all throw a crap ton of energy really into the not all men argument.
Yeah, it's almost like men don't like being called a bunch of negative things, one of which would be violent and abusive and all of this kind of stuff, right? It's almost like when you insult an entire group of people, those people are going to have a thing about it. If I sat on here, guys, and I said, you know, women are straight up this, insert negative, adjective, or this, right? Then it'd be the exact same thing. Okay, you're making blanket statements about how men are abusive and all this kind of crap, and you're surprised when dudes come in and disagree with you. If you want to make misandrous comments, don't be surprised when men don't like it. It's really not rocket science. So
I assume that it's really negatively impacting your life consistently.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. Would love to, just sit down. Guys, you could not pay me money to sit down with these individuals and have a cup of coffee with them. And that's saying something, because I really like coffee. Okay, so if I were getting free coffee and paid to sit down and have a coffee with them, I still wouldn't do it. And that's coming from an individual who, I absolutely love this stuff. So, yeah, here we go. Next one. This one's muted ahead of time.
I hate being a woman. For fuck's sake, we get punished whether we trust men or if we distrust them. Because if I make the blanket statement, I'm like, hey, I am a little bit distrustful of guys because, I don't know who's gonna attack me or who's not going to attack me. You might as well play it safe. Then I'm a bitch, I'm paranoid, and I'm generalizing. But if
I'm gonna, first of all, call her out on this. First of all, I don't think that that's exactly what she's saying. I think she's softening the blow a little bit here. But if you come out here and you there's a difference between saying you're cautious around dudes. I say that men should be cautious or just outright not get into marriages, for example. I think this girl's softening the blow of what it is she exactly says here. We're gonna play that back again, give it one more listen.
I am a little bit distrustful of guys because, I don't know who's gonna attack me or who's not going to attack me. You might as well play it safe. Then I'm a bitch, I'm paranoid, and I'm generalizing. But if I go and trust a guy and then he does something really shitty to me...
This is how you can tell, right? This is how you can tell that this girl has no idea what the hell she's talking about. Because look at this, okay? If I go and trust a guy and then he does something really crappy to me, okay? You will notice a theme with these TikToks that we cover, guys, and it's women constantly having negative experiences, particularly romantic ones with men. Now, that doesn't communicate to me that all men are terrible or the bar for men is so low and men need to step it up. What it communicates to me is you have no idea how to judge men. And if a guy is attractive to you, you will put up with terrible behavior. Guys, a lot of you gentlemen might know this, okay? If you're a dude and you've got out of a relationship, many of you guys probably already know this, but a lot of the times when women get out of relationships, or they'll have another guy lined up ready to go, okay? And typically that guy, she might have previously referred to you as, oh, she doesn't like him, right? I had a guy, I'm bringing up this guy over the last couple of episodes just because it's fresh on my mind, but a friend of mine mentioned, man, he recently came out of a relationship with a girl, pretty long-term relationship. And this guy, I mentioned him, I think it was the last episode. He's a fantastic guy, okay? And they got out of that relationship, and within 2 months, she was living with another guy entirely, and also seeing a third guy at the same time. And he said to me, he's like, Taylor, he's like, you know how I knew that that third guy was the one that she was seeing? Right, because I was describing the dude because I didn't know his name or anything. And she's like, oh, do you know how I knew it was this particular guy you were describing? And I was like, how? And he said to me, because she always said that she didn't like him. Right? Guys, what I'm trying to say here, okay, is that if you can't make correct judgments about men romantically, we have nothing to talk about. We really don't. It just shows how clueless you are.
Shitty to me, then it's my fault because it's my judgment error for trusting him.
Absolutely, 100%. And the reason why it's your judgment error is because these things are very easily understandable. Guys, I will give you an example, okay? I've used this a bunch of times recently, and that's because I think it's a good one, okay? These girls will say things like, oh, it's my fault for having an error in judgment when I trust them, okay? Which, you know, could be fair once, maybe twice or whatever, but guys, let me paint a picture for you here, okay? Let's just say you are the father figure or the father of a woman, a father of you know, you've got a daughter, and she's going out there and she's looking for men to date, okay? If you were to choose your daughter's partner, you would probably have fantastic judgment. You wouldn't get tricked or fooled by these toxic men who just, you know, keep playing her for a fool, right? That's because these things are incredibly obvious. And if a man is attractive enough to a woman, she will literally just ignore absolutely everything. And then she'll turn around and claim plausible deniability and say, oh, he tricked me. He didn't trick you, okay? The guy who's 6 foot plus, making 6 figures with tattoos, who obviously doesn't want to commit to any girl and is chased by a whole bunch of women. If a guy meets any number of those things, he's not going to commit to you. So stop playing this victim card like you didn't understand what the hell was going on, and maybe use your brain a little bit when you're selecting people to date.
You get all these fucking fragile men being like, I can't believe that you're generalizing us and you think of me as an attacker. Like, how dare you? Bitch, I will hurt your feelings so I can feel safe. It's not even a competition. 100% cry about it. I hate being a...
Okay, so I'm gonna so first of all, that end part absolutely makes no sense, by the way, because, okay, let's just assume, you know, if we follow this woman's logic, how does her sitting here ranting about this make her feel safe, by the way? Like, I don't understand, right? Only in, like, modern day society will you hear a sentence like this, guys. I'm going to play the start of this. Listen.
I hate being a woman. For fuck's sake, like, we get punished whether we trust men or if we distrust them.
Yeah, guys. Oh, I hate being a woman in modern day society, gentlemen. It's so hard. All this, you know, this gender pay gap, and men won't marry us and do whatever we say. And oh my goodness, it's so hard. Oh, what? The gender pay gap doesn't exist? Yes, it does. I've had enough, man. Let's get on to the next TikTok. And obviously, these are all from the same woman, guys, because when you find a girl on TikTok, and anytime a girl makes a womanist rant on TikTok, if you just go to her profile, it's literally full of content. Like, I've said this before, guys, but I don't think I'll ever run out of content for this show, right? It really doesn't take long to find. You can sort this crap by hashtag, okay? I have like a whole... Guys, we literally, if you didn't know this, right? When we're making these episodes, I have 2 editors, right? And we literally have a giant spreadsheet full of these girls and their TikTok handles. So we can just pull up any one. Like, we'll go back to like 2 months ago and the girl will have posted fresh new content for us. Like, it never runs out. And the sheet is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, guys. And all of these videos seem to be popular for whatever reason. Don't look too much into that or you'll want to fry your brain. But let's jump into this next clip. And right here it says, there are too many effing little boys in my comments section. Interesting. So let's take a listen.
There are too many little boys in my comments being, why don't you advocate for men? What about men's rights? Bitch, what rights are you fighting for? The right to be a misogynist?
What? Like, what? Here's the thing, okay? It's funny, right? Girls will say that they have, like, comparatively little rights to men and we need more women's rights. But if you sit there and you ask them what rights are afforded to men that are not afforded to women, they kind of draw a blank outside of, like, social things like... outside of like really minor social things, which by the way are heavily offset when you consider that girls get into clubs free, they get drinks for free, they get attention for free, they get money for free. They get validation for free. People care about them and check up on them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are no rights that are afforded to men that are not afforded to women, especially on a on a judicial level, right? But of course, we have these TikToks that exist for some reason. Let's play that back for a second.
For men, what about men's rights?
Oh, so yeah, also, as far as men's rights go, you want to talk about, we're just going to completely skip over this whole marriage court things, for example, right? You can run a dude through the divorce courts, absolutely rinse him of his money, perhaps his children too, while you're at it. And that's just something that's totally societally acceptable. But these girls are complaining about things that literally do not exist, right? Like, they do not exist. We have dudes out here still paying for their wives from years ago while she's out here, seeing some other dude in his previous house. Okay, and we want to talk here about women's... Shut up, bro. Shut up.
Bitch, what rights are you fighting for? The right to be a misogynist? I only ask because every time that I have discussed men's issues, whether that's with body dysmorphia or with inequalities when it comes to prison sentences or inequalities when it comes to custody or the rampant issue of mental health, no one backs up my video. None of you are in there being like, yes, you're talking about it, because you don't actually care about those fucking issues.
I would be very skeptical as to the videos that she put out on these issues actually taking the side of men. Right, I'm going to take a guess here. I'll go and have a look at her videos afterwards. Actually, who am I kidding? No, I won't. Screw that. But, I'm just going to guess here and say that the videos where you're talking about men's issues, you're still probably not empathizing with men at all. Right? And the reason why I say this, guys, is just the precedent that this woman has already set in this small amount of videos of being a passive-aggressive worm. Like, the reason why dudes probably won't agree with you about those videos is probably because you're making them incorrectly, right? And probably because you're being passive-aggressive while you're making them. That's just if I had to guess, based on the previous bunch of TikToks that we're currently watching, right?
And it's not like this is something new. Like, we know you only bring up men's issues to silence women's issues.
Not true. The reason why men respond to you and say not all men is not because they want to silence women's issues. Here's the thing, okay? Girls will use this line of argument to say that men don't care about them. Men absolutely care about, the health and well-being of women. They absolutely do. Right? A lot of dudes step in to protect women, especially a lot of dudes do not like seeing women suffer at all. Absolutely not. If you're a human, you don't like seeing other humans suffer, point blank, period. Okay? Right? Unless you're like a sociopath or some crap like that, right? Now, and it just amazes me how invisible this is. Like, two things can't be simultaneously true, right? Why does a guy have to be invalidating your experience for refuting your misandry? Right? Like, if you're coming out here, you're spewing garbage and people respond to that garbage, like, they might agree with some of the things that you say, but then you're like saying, oh, if you disagree with me, then you're basically as good as a perpetrator. Right? This is why nobody takes your arguments seriously, is because you leave no room for people to disagree with you in any good faith kind of level. It's really disturbing.
No, you only bring up men's issues to silence women's issues.
Straight up not true.
I'm just frankly tired of it. Come up with something new. Where's the flavor? Where's the pizzazz? And
that phrase right there is, when she says that she's made videos on men's rights issues or talking about issues that men face, such as mental health, that phrase right there and crap like that is probably some of the reasons why, people don't take your videos too seriously, right?
I would rather you just say, I don't agree that women should have rights, and I think that your struggles are stupid.
I think that a lot of your struggles are stupid. I think that genders, each gender has a unique set of struggles, right? Like, everyone has struggles in life. Like, I'll give her that, okay? But if you want to sit here and you want to talk about the men that you were attracted are toxic, or like, you can't seem to find men to trust, that says something about your judgment. So yes, your struggles are stupid. Second of all, a lot of men actually agree with the fact that women should have rights. Right? How do you think we got to this point? Men giving you rights. What are you on about? Right? A lot of whatever, dude.
Rather than you trying to play this narrative that you actually give a fuck about men's issues. I guarantee that I actually care about them more than you claim to.
I don't buy that at all. I sincerely do not believe that.
There are too many little
and that's
boys.
The end of that clip right there, and we are muting that as we continue on to the next one. Jeez, man. Alrighty. This is our last one, guys. Okay, we're almost at the end, and then we'll jump into today's Reddit story. Okay, we're almost there. And here on this one, it says, okay, real honest question. Do you all think I'm psychotic? So let's take a listen to what she has to say here. And of course, we have, you know, the hashtags, hashtag feminism, hashtag feminist, hashtag liberal, hashtag left, and all that kind of crap. Hashtag viral, right?
Okay, real honest question. Do y'all think I'm psychotic? Because I got a DM from a fuckboy. Probably in a frat. You can tell from his 8 posts, 15,000 followers, the fact that he has his Snapchat in his bio but his account is private, and the fact that he goes to University of Kansas. But anyway, he basically DM'd me and asked if my entire account is satire, otherwise I'm psychotic.
I agree with the man. I mean, hey, yeah, sounds about right to me.
But I feel like this is just misogyny in its finest.
Oh my word. So if someone thinks that your videos are satire, then they're a misogynist, right? This is the fantastic stuff, guys. Is like you can't even disagree with these people, because what they do is they just like they put you instantly into a bucket, excuse me, of like any buzzword negative adjective. Like you're a user, or you're a misogynist, or like you're this or you're that, or like you're a right-wing extremist. I've seen that one thrown around. Like all this kind of crap if you disagree with them, guys. Like if you see these TikToks, there's probably like, I make a joke all the time about 6 women watching this channel, but there's probably a couple of women watching this video right now, and they probably think that this woman is psychotic, right? But of course, you know, everybody who disagrees with her is a misogynist, which begs the question, you know, that's probably the reason why you're being called a psycho in the first place. Probably because of your arguments like that, right?
Women are always labeled as being crazy or psychotic whenever we get mad about something and we voice our opinion.
No, enough of the gaslighting, okay? The reason why the dude says that you're psychotic is because your videos are straight up psychotic and they don't follow any sort of logical coherence. And they're also based in really bad faith arguments where you assume that anyone who disagrees with you, for example, is a misogynist, right? That is the reason that it is brought up. It's not because women are all crazy. Not all women are crazy, right? That, like, not all women, you know, women are going to do X, Y, Z to you. Not all of them are terrible. Not all men are terrible, okay? But just because someone disagrees with you doesn't mean that they're a sexist, right? Amazing stuff.
Our opinion. Whereas when guys do it, they're passionate, they're driven, they're outspoken.
No, they're actually accused of very questionable things. They're hunted down. They're socially ostracized. Okay, guys, like, for example, like, here's the thing, guys. These videos, I don't think a lot of you gentlemen realize, maybe you do. Like, I get a lot of hate mail, guys. Like, I've considered making episodes on it because I think it would be funny. Like, I might actually start doing videos like that in the future. You know, I just straight up hate mail. I've received all sorts of different threats and stuff like that. So when dudes speak up, it's not really like, you know, if dudes sit here and they talk about men's issues, for example, men not wanting to get, you know, getting run through marriage courts and stuff like that, divorce courts.
They're outspoken.
They're not always considered passionate, driven, and outspoken. A lot of them are just treated like outright crap and, you know, sent hate mail, for example. And that's not me trying to throw a pity party for myself, guys, because I couldn't care less, right? Like, this is the internet. If I didn't get hate mail, I'd probably be doing something wrong. But, you know, interesting.
So anyway, no, it's not satire. I really do truly believe that everyone should have equal rights. The horror. Okay.
I love it how they hide behind the equal rights narrative, right? So what they do to finish up all of their bad faith arguments and their misandry and all of this kind of stuff is they hide behind, one, if you disagree with them, you are insert bad adjective. And two, if you disagree with her, you're inherently disagreeing with equal rights of people, right? Like, what they'll always do, guys, is they'll cover it in pretty fluffy terms like equality and, you know, caring and compassion, and I'm so ethical and I have empathy. And these are the people who, like, don't understand these concepts the most. It's always the girls who make TikToks like this, guys, who don't know a thing about empathy, right? But they're perfectly okay, you know, lecturing you about all this crap, and, you know, they wonder why they aren't getting married. I wonder what this person's relationship status is. Hell, who am I kidding? Even if she's in a relationship, that crap's not going to last. Guys, let's jump into today's Reddit stories and see what we have lined up. Now, guys, I'm just going to keep bringing this up. This subreddit is still locked, right? If you guys are unaware over the last, like, week or so, week and a half, I don't know, time blurs together when you're watching this garbage. we've been locked out of female dating strategy, guys. So unfortunately, you know, a lot of our content has been cut off. So if you guys want to send in, you know, magazine articles or stories to the email, link is in the description. Feel free to do so, because female dating strategy is still locked. I think we must have done a number on these individuals, guys, because they literally have locked down the entire subreddit. I'm gonna get my editor to join maybe tomorrow and see if he can jump in and, you know, get us some more content. But as of right now, guys, I think we actually got female dating strategy locked down. So there goes a lot of our content. But let's jump into a Reddit story that I do indeed have pulled up that we are not locked out of. Okay, so this one is posted to r/relationship advice. Now, here we have a younger couple. I'm really hoping that I didn't cover this on yesterday's episode because I'm getting a hell of a flashback. So apologies, gentlemen, if you're seeing this for a second time, if I have already covered this. But this is a pretty interesting story. One, because it's kind of disgusting. Two, so we've got a younger couple here, and basically they break up, and the girl still wants the privileges of being in the relationship without actually being in the relationship. So I'll jump in and I'll give you guys a read. I think a lot of guys will probably run into situations like this throughout their life. And it's really quite disturbing when you kind of get into it and realize the reasons behind it. But let's take a listen. Girlfriend broke up with me and she still wants to be best friends and text and call all the time. Me, an 18-year-old male, and my girlfriend, who is an 18-year-old female, now ex-girlfriend as of a month, were together for 3 years. Without going into too much detail, we had the best relationship and everything was great. We would see each other every day and most weekends as we went to high school together. High school being over now, she is going to university and I am working full-time. My weekends are free and I have time for her, but she claims her weekends are filled with university and studying, meaning she can't hang out as much, roughly one time a month. And keep in mind, we only live 30 minutes drive from each other. So right away, she's just lying through her teeth. Guys, like, I've heard people argue and discuss about this and all this kind of thing. If a person doesn't have time for something, if they don't have money for something, usually what it means is they just don't prioritize it. If you're in a relationship and you guys live 30 minutes apart and she can't make it to you more than once a month or vice versa, that's a bit sus to me. But let's continue. Long story short, she decided that we should break up as she doesn't have time for me anymore. Yeah, she probably met a new dude at university. That's what this means, right? So this woman broke up a fantastic relationship of 3 years just because she doesn't have time for him anymore. That's hilarious. However, she still wants to be my best friend. She wants to text and call me every day and also still would like to hang out once a month, but as friends. As of yesterday, we hung out in person for the first time as being just friends. This was extremely hard for me as it didn't feel right and I felt super restricted in what I was allowed to say or do as we are just friends now. I don't know if this is something I could get used to, especially because I felt upset and heartbroken the whole time I was with her. It feels like I am constantly reminded that we aren't together anymore. It hurts bad knowing that we are only friends now and things aren't going to be the same as they were before. It's always on my mind, especially because she texts and calls me every day. I've explained how I felt to her, but she still says it'll get easier over time and we should keep being best friends because she wants me in her life and she can't lose me. I don't know what to do. I feel stuck, but I also want her in my life, but it also hurts as well. Any help would be appreciated. Thank you. Now, guys, this is something that a lot of men go through when they get broken up with, or, you know, they leave a relationship or a marriage or something like that. And again, this is just like one of those nail in the coffin type things for a lot of dudes. Like, this will happen to dudes. They'll understand why it happens, which I'll go into in a second here. And then they're like, oh, yeah, never again. So basically what this girl wants, guys, is she wants just all of the benefits of being in the relationship without actually being in the relationship. You know, it's kind of like when girls will complain about men only using them for their bodies, and they're like, oh, how come he only wants to come over for 20 minutes at a time, but he won't give me a relationship, right? It's kind of like the girls' equivalent, where they just want to get attention and validation and maybe some free crap out of you while she's out here seeing other men. If you are ever in a situation like this, guys, just say, I have enough friends, and stop talking to her. Just cut them out of your life, guys. You're going to save yourself so much of an absolute headache if you do that. And I don't think a lot of guys really understand how valuable their attention is, if you guys are giving your attention to people who don't deserve it, you're going to run into a lot of issues. A lot of you older gentlemen probably might already know this if you've been around the block a couple of times. But whenever a girl says, if you've got a romantic interest in a girl, or maybe your relationship just ended and she just wants to be friends or whatever, just say no, you have enough friends. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts, your comments, and your experiences, guys. It's always interesting to see what you gentlemen have to say. A lot of you guys articulate far funnier arguments in particular than myself. In response to some of the garbage that we cover. So as always, guys, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Don't forget to come and join us over on Locals. The link is in the description. Locals is totally free to join, guys. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can do so through Locals or Patreon if you'd like as well. But we're going to be leaving it there. So as always, gentlemen, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you are interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and Locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.